Day 4 of the 2026 Olympic men's hockey tournament took place yesterday, and it was a very entertaining slate of games. I apologize for being late to this one, couldn't get it out last night, but anyways, I figured I'd recap it anyways and then do the Day 5 one after. The first game was a pretty major matchup. It was the Swedes and the Slovaks. Sweden ended up taking this one 5-3, but the goal differential in this game had a huge factor, which I'll explain later. It was Sweden on the board first, Eriksson Ek with a shorthanded goal. He's legitimately one of the most underrated players in the NHL, and I'm glad to see him doing things on the international stage. Shortly after, it was Juraj Slafkovsky with an absolute snipe one-timer from the half wall, beating Jake Markstrom post and end to tie it at 1. What a tournament he's having. In the last minute of the first, Jacob Markstrom made a ridiculous goal line save. This was a bit controversial. A lot of people thought the puck went in. The initial call on the ice was a goal, and they ended up reviewing it and taking it back. It was such a close call, so I really don't know if it was the right call or not, but let me know down below what you guys thought of it. On the power play, right off the faceoff, Darling walks the line, sends it over to Kempe, and he blasts one to make it 2-1. After a weird bounce, it was Gernat from the back end tying it up 2-2. And then Elias Pettersson would score the next 2 goals, one off the rush and then another one off a beautiful pass from Lucas Raymond, cross seam. Sweden's biggest weakness is definitely their center core, but if Elias Pettersson can play like the Elias Pettersson that we know he can back in those 2023-2024 seasons, then Sweden has that legitimate first-line center that they're kind of lacking right now. Sweden will make it 5-2. Raymond with the goal of the tournament, a through-the-legs move, and then as he's falling, he tucks it in. On the power play, Slafkovsky shooting it. Rebound comes to Dvorsky, who tucks it home to make it 5-3. And although it cut the deficit to 2, this was actually a massive goal, as due to the tournament tie-breaking rules, if Sweden wanted to clinch first place, they would have to win by 3+ goals. And if not, and Finland beat Italy in regulation, which was kind of a given, then Slovakia clinches first in the division, which ultimately ended up happening. Then we had Latvia taking on Germany, and this was kind of an upset. The Latvians took it 4-3. It was a tight game. It was Lucas Reichel 2 minutes in on the breakaway, burying it for the Germans, but shortly after, it was a power play marker from Dan Schlock-Mellis, who is a Boston Bruins prospect doing very well in Providence this season. Just about a minute later, the Germans struck back to make it 2-1. And in the second, on a 5-on-3 power play, Schlock-Mellis made it 2-2. Max got in alone and made it 3-2 Latvia just about 8.5 minutes into the third period. And Kratensberg popped on the loose puck out front to make it 4-2. Stützle got one back with about 2.5 minutes left, but the Latvians were able to hold on with a 26-save performance from Artur Shilovs. Then we had the Finns taking on Italy, and I'm not going to break this down goal by goal because it was an absolute slaughtering, 11-0. It was a stat padding game for the Finns. You had Aho, Granlund, Kakko, and Kiviranta with 2 goal performances. Mikko Rantanen had 3 assists, and Arturi Lehkonen also had 3 points. The shots ended up being 62-15, and you can't help but feel bad for Italy, but for the Finns, that's going to help with the goal differential and put them above Sweden. Finishing up the day was the US taking on Denmark, and this game was a lot closer than you would have expected. Olsen crashed the net and put the Danes up just under 2 minutes into the first period, and about 2 minutes later, Matthew Boldy, with a fantastic individual effort, buries the wraparound. Then we had one of the craziest moments of the tournament where Danish defenseman Nicholas B. Jensen lofted one from the red line at the net, and somehow it beat Swayman. There might have been a bit of deflection, but it also looks like Swayman might have lost sight of the puck, as the boards around the neutral zone are pretty much pitch black, and that might have affected his eyesight, but still, that's one that you need to save on. Midway through the second, off a face-off, it's Brady Tkachuk with a snipe, and about a minute later, on another offensive zone face-off, Eichel finds the loose puck and makes it 3-2. Noah Hannafin added one with about 2.5 minutes to go in the second frame. And off a face-off, Brugesser sends one on, a slapper by Swayman with only 4 seconds left to bring the Danes within 1. In the third period, though, Austin Matthews with a great feed for Jake Gensel in the high slot to make it 5-3, and Jack Hughes got the 6-3 goal off a very nice rush where he takes it wide, goes behind the net, but banks it off the goalie and in. A bit of a scare for the Americans, but they do win it in regulation and currently sit at the top of Group C. You've got Canada at the top of Group A, and then the Slovaks clinch the first place of Group B. So the round robin wraps up on Sunday, and we'll see who makes the qualifying games. And who gets the bye. So apologies for not getting this out last night, but I figured I should still make it, and let me know down below what you thought of Saturday's games. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.